This is exactly what people want. A cheap, normal, easy to use electric car. However, this could be too little too late to save Volkswagen from future bankruptcy. I know what you're thinking, as if, dear old trustworthy Volkswagen, Dieselgate. I'm afraid this supposed Tesla killer is not necessarily going to save Volkswagen from impending doom. But before we get into that, let's start with the grand reveal of the Volkswagen ID2 All Concept car. Yes, to me it looks suspiciously thrown together as a response to Tesla's recently announced $25,000 future car. But assuming the production version stays on track to this one, along with a decent range and price, Volkswagen are clearly onto a winner. A gentle reminder that this is just a concept car, not a production car. Just Volkswagen's usual razzle-dazzle stunning prototype that might end up blander than a rich tea biscuit. Let's not forget the incredible Volkswagen ID Buzz concept that turned into this. Let's start with the design. Just grab an old stock 90s Golf off the wall, pop a red light bulb in the badge, done. Totally unique and different. But I guess if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Volkswagen kinda reminds me of Bix pens throughout the years. There's nothing revolutionary or particularly exciting about the ID2, and that's what makes it perfect for the masses. The vast majority of people in Europe and China, which is where it's going to be sold, want an affordable, easy to use, familiar, small, normal looking EV with a half decent range. So assuming Volkswagen can stick to that criteria, they will sell like hotcakes. Or hot hatch cakes. Spec, which in this case can stand for either specification or speculation. It will start at €25,000, which is just under £22,000 or $27,000. This will be for the entry-level 38 kWh battery version, which based on my estimate, as they don't disclose the range for this one, would be around 190 miles. I think some people assumed this 279 mile range car would be just €25,000, not the case. The longer range, 279 mile, 58 kWh battery pack version that was discussed will most certainly cost more, although that was not disclosed during the event either. Makes sense? Hope so. 0 to 60 will be in 7 seconds. It will have 223 brake horsepower, and it's 4 meters long, which is the length of a Volkswagen Polo, yet with the internal space of a Golf. It will be built on the first MEB platform to have front-wheel drive. Volkswagen claims it will complete a 10 to 80% charge in around 20 minutes and will have a maximum charging rate of 125 kilowatts. It's got a really nice looking interior, cool little steering wheel with floaty side bits that don't reach the centrepiece, and pretty blue lights throughout the cabin, all of which I hope make it to production, but honestly, probably not. It's got a 10.9-inch digital instrument panel alongside a 12.9-inch central infotainment system. Finally, Volkswagen have added physical buttons to climate control, hooray! Making it familiar, playing it safe for the mass market appeal, and getting rid of those haptic feedback buttons that currently plague Volkswagen's EVs is clearly a good move because everybody hates them. The most unique thing to me is a really cool retro analog display, which you can switch between old Volkswagen dials and even includes a digital tape deck for your audio. Little fun things like that, you see, are going to make all the difference. People are simple. We like a bit of nostalgia. A bit of German fun, yeah? Yeah, I speak German. Volkswagen. It means people's car. Yeah, I learned something. The interior space looks great too. It's got a massive 490 litre boot, plus underbench storage for your cables and stuff. A folding down front passenger seat allows you to carry long objects, so there's ample storage throughout, and a great internal space. They didn't mention the frunk, but it doesn't look like there would be much room under the bonnet from these pictures. And of course, there's always going to be more room inside a dedicated EV compared to ICE cars, as there's just fewer parts inside them. Add a bit of clever space-saving engineering, and this is how all EVs should be. And finally, it's going to be built in Spain. But here's the big question then. Will this save Volkswagen? It's worth remembering Elon's wise words. Prototypes are easy, production is hard. I'm not sure how Volkswagen can pull this off for the price if they want to maintain any profits on it. They have not just announced a revolutionary new way of building cars and driving costs down, as Tesla have just detailed, but are instead working backwards. Here's a nice shiny prototype, let's all pray things work out, and we all know how useful praying is, don't we? Don't we? Volkswagen CEO Thomas Schaefer said it's not a charity project, it's supposed to earn money, and the way Volkswagen plans to do this is by scaling to bring down costs. As in, the more you build, the cheaper they are to make. But what was also announced is that plenty more vehicles will be built on this new MEB platform, and that translates to a heavy platform that has to withstand larger variants of vehicles on top. Not a great thing for efficiency or weight saving for this little EV. Did you know, for example, that Volkswagen's ID3 weighs more than a Tesla Model Y? And there's a rather big difference in size there, from a smallish hatchback to a 7-seater SUV. Then there's build times. It takes 10 hours for Tesla to build a Model Y, 30 hours for Volkswagen to build an ID3. What Volkswagen really needed to announce was a revolutionary new way of building cars at scale, faster, more efficiently, and for less cost. You know, like Tesla just did at Investor Day. Card in the corner if you want to watch that. The perfect storm. With global ICE cars falling off a cliff and EV sales soaring, any car company that makes its profit from its ICE sales are in serious trouble. Now that EVs are almost at the same price as ICE cars, consumers quite literally need to be mad to purchase a car with an engine anymore. Pair that with way cheaper running costs, far lower depreciation, and let's just ignore the environmental benefit. In a couple of years' time, when even more affordable EVs are being offered, with an even greater spec, what then for every car manufacturer trying to sell people engines? A way inferior product for lots more money that will lose its value quicker than a pile of cash on fire. And this is where traditional car companies are absolutely stuck. They rely on their traditional engine business for profit and are still at the early stages of figuring out how to build affordable, desirable, functional, profitable electric cars. Take Volkswagen, for example. Over on their website, I'm on their commercial future vehicles page. What electric delights are in store for this rapidly switching to electric vehicles company? Oh, how lovely, it's a V6 diesel pickup truck. Just what the world needs. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the wolf disguised in sheep's clothing. Whilst Volkswagen operates as one company, they have zero ability to change their spots, as they are fully dependent on continuing to sell you great big gas-guzzling, dirty, smelly, pollution-producing, asthma-causing, lung-damaging, filthy farting machines, simply to maintain as much profits for their shareholders and executives as possible. Oh, and I nearly forgot, Volkswagen have $184 billion of debt, but are about to borrow a further $200 billion. Did I mention my concerns about this car being profitable? Because whoa! Do they need to be profitable to be able to pay back $1/3 trillion? One more thing. Volkswagen have to write off production lines and factories around the world that are dedicated to building ICE cars, which are no longer being bought by the world's biggest car market, China. This is disastrous. 50% of Volkswagen's current profits comes from selling cars in China, where the traditional car market is now collapsing. There's more. Vehicle inventory has been building up around the world at dealerships. With Euro 7 emission standards becoming stricter in Europe, cars that do not meet these emission levels cannot be bought or sold after the 1st of July 2025. Yeah, not many people seem to know all this. Pretty bad, isn't it? I think the best option for Volkswagen is to follow Ford's footsteps, oddly. Ford has split its auto businesses into two separate units, Ford Blue for traditional petrol and diesel powered vehicles, and Ford Model E for the new electric vehicles, for new electric models. The company expects the move will streamline its growing electric vehicles business and maximise profits, whilst the deadwood of its ICE vehicle side of things and the dealership model quickly collapses, burns away to ash and dies. Not a direct quote from Ford there. In summary, can Volkswagen pull this perfectly fine EV off while still maintaining enough profits to stay in business, whilst its ICE business is collapsing around it? Tesla's Model 2, or whatever the damn thing's going to be called, might be rolling off the production line at the end of 2024. This $25,000 car may well make the ID2 obsolete before it even gets launched in 2026. I don't know, let's see how this plays out. Best of luck, Volkswagen. Do remember that these are just my thoughts, concerns and opinions, and I do genuinely want all car companies to thrive and survive going forward. I'm merely pointing out that for Volkswagen and others, it may be too little too late. I'd love to hear what you think about all this, though. I mean, there's a lot to take in there, isn't there? It's the inevitable collapse of these car companies is happening, yet no one seems to understand it or even talking about it. What do you think of the car? What do you think of Volkswagen's strategy going forward? Do you think by 2026 it's going to be relevant? You know, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. Do get in touch. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hopefully you found some value somewhere in this video. I'm Will, this is the Tesla Jigsaw, and I bid you a fond farewell. Bye for now.